Shalom. Real Hebrew Israelites coming that weekend. God represented down on America and this society. Starting off, I want to give all praise, all honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shem, Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the millstone who rule well and teach well and be in good zone to the Shalom brothers. And peace and blessing for Electla, what I'm part of that number. I'm their brother Kadar from the G-Man's Brother Chicago. Come back another video. And this video is going to be entitled, alright, this is going to be entitled, the origins of Islam. Alright, if you go to my, if you click on my channel, alright, and go to my playlist, you will see a playlist that's public called My History Playlist, and that's all of my history videos that I've done to my channel. This is not my first video on Islam, but I just ordered this book, called From Babylon to Timbuktu. Alright, and they, gave some good information, on the birth of Islam, man. And since I was at it, I was like, you might as well just do a video on it, man. Alright, but let me read this first. I'll start this website. It says Roman Catholics won Jerusalem at the end of the 3rd century because of its religious history and its strategic location. Okay, because what you gotta know is Jay created that shit in a Roman Catholic church, man. To get them Ishmaelites, them Arabs, a sense of pride. All right, so they could worship their own God, man. Hey, because Ishmael had 360 gods for each day. All right. At the time, they had the what was that war called? Damn, it's not the Punic War, Salaki. I can't even think of it right now, but I'm going to continue to read. At the end of the 3rd century, because of its religious history and its strategic location, the holy city was considered a priceless treasure. A scheme had to be developed to make Jerusalem a Roman Catholic city. The great untapped source of manpower that could do this job was the children of Ishmael. The poor Arab fell victim to one of the most clever plans ever. That's Jake, man. Alright, Jake supplant. Early Christians went everywhere with the gospel, setting up small churches, but they met heavy opposition. Both the Jews and the Roman government persecuted the believers in Hamashiach, Christ, to stop their spread. But the Jews rebelled against Rome, and in 70 AD, Roman armies under General Titus smashed Jerusalem. Okay, and it was really under the general name Tiberius Alexander, Tiberius Julius Alexander, and he was an Israelite, because General Titus, if you go into the history, General Titus was really unexperienced. All right, Jake was really calling the shots, but they gave General Titus the credit, man. That's why you got the Arch of Titus, and that shit is everywhere. It says and destroyed the great Jewish temple, which was the heart of Jewish worship and fulfillment of Mashiach's prophecy in Matthew 24:2. On this holy place, today where the temple once stood, the dome of the Rock Mosque stands as Islam's second most holy place. Sweeping changes were in the wind. Corruption, apathy, greed, cruelty, perversion, and rebellion were eating at the Roman Empire, and it was ready to collapse. The persecution against Christians was useless as they continued to lay their lives down for the gospel of Mashiach. As our people are used to martyrdom, the only way Satan could stop this thrust was to create a counterfeit Christian religion, to destroy the work of the Most High. The solution was in Rome. Their religion had come from ancient Babylon. All it needed was a facelift. This didn't happen overnight, but began the writing of the early church father. It was through their writing that a new religion would take shape. The statue of Jupiter in Rome was eventually called St. Peter. The statue of Venus was changed to Virgin Mary. The site chosen for its headquarters was one of the 7 hills called Vaticanus, the place of the diving serpent where the satanic temple of Janus stood. The great counterfeit religion was Roman Catholicism, called Mystery Babylon the Great, of the harlots, the abomination of the earth. In Revelation 17:5, she was raised up to block the gospel, slaughter the believers in Hamashiach, establish religions, create wars, and make the nations drunk with the wine of fornication, as we will see. 3 major religions have one thing in common. Each has a holy place where they look for acquaintance. Roman Catholicism looks at the Vatican as the holy city. The Jews look at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. All right. And the Muslims look to Mecca as the holy city. Each group believes that they receive certain types of blessings for the rest of their lives for visiting their holy place. Because Muhammad, he was set up, to push that Islam movement. All right, and he took a lot of them things from Jake, man. But he soon turned to be an enemy of Jake. Started slaughtering them, etc. But we're gonna get to that as well. Arab visitors will bring gifts to the house of God, quote unquote, and the keepers of Kaaba were gracious to all who came. Some brought their idols, not wanting to offend these people. Their idols were placed inside the sanctuary. It is said that the Jews looked up upon the Kaaba as the outlying tabernacle of the Most High with veneration until it became polluted with idols. In the Kaaba has nothing to do with our people, man. That's Ishmael shit, man. It's full of idols, man. It is a damn rock, man. All right, you got people surrounding it. All right, what they do is run around it. Hey, and people get trampled over in that shit, man. It happens all the time. And when you go inside the thing, it's literally a rock, man. You niggas worshiping the damn rock, man. That's why the scriptures say you're gonna worship wood and stone in Deuteronomy 28. All right, that wood is the cross and the stone is that cobblestone, man. All right. But let's go into the story of Muhammad. It says the birth of Islam. At the time of the birth of Muhammad, were the international events or conditions operated? The answer to this question is necessary for comprehension of the rapid emergence of the Mohammedan Empire. The Roman Empire at the birth of Muhammad were divided into two parts: the Western Empire, the capital Rome, and then you had the Byzantine Empire with the capital at Constantinople. And it's not called Constantinople anymore. It's now called Istanbul, Turkey. All right, because Mehmed the Conqueror, he was an Edomite. He was a Turk. Because a lot of those Turks are Edomites, and he conquered it and changed it to Istanbul, Turkey. The Roman Empire in the West collapsed AD 476 after many barbarian raids and insertion. The Germanic tribes crossed the borders and penetrated into all territory of the Western Empire, including Africa. The Eastern Empire was deprived of its vigor by repeated wars with Persia. This empire could not hold its possession with a firm grip. Constant imposition of heavy taxes, a scarcity of soldiers and agricultural laborers, economic exhaustion, a large slave class, and influx of the barbarians with frequent wars brought disorder and weakened both the Western and Eastern Empire. With the defeat of Jewish and Christian powers in Arabia, the stage was now set for the rise of a new power on the world scene. This new power was Arabia. The Arabian Salakia, I believe is okay. With its new religion, Islam established a superstructure of its culture on the ruin of the Roman Empire in the Middle East, Africa, and parts of Europe. Europe remained dormant and inactive for 1,000 years through the Dark Ages, because that's when our people was ruled. That deadly wound was on Esau, man. And he came back through the Renaissance era. That deadly wound was healed, but Jake took over, man. That's why they call it the Dark Ages, man. The Holy Roman Empire versus the pagan Roman Empire. All right, the Byzantine Empire. Those were Jake's, man. It says when Muhammad was born, many Arabs were still worshiping the sun, stars, spirits, and idols. They do that now. They worship the moon, man. The Arab possessed 360 idols, one for each day of the year. Okay, because they worship rocks and stones, man. Muhammad was born in AD 570, 4 years after the death of the Emperor Justinian. He was descended from the tribe of Quraysh, the family of Hashem, which Hashem means the name in Hebrew. His mentality was prodigious. In his youth, he was never taught to read or write, but his imagination was superlative. Muhammad was an extraordinary handsome man, an eloquent and motivated man with the power of words. In the early year of Muhammad's life, he passed his time as a shepherd boy. We must remember that many successful men have arisen from insignificant and humble conditions. All right, now let's skip to the good parts. It says, after Muhammad became a camel driver, he travels to remote and intriguing lands. He led his caravans to Persia, Syria, Egypt, transacted business with merchants of every kind. On his business trips, he met Jews, Christians, and members of other sects. He interrogated them concerning the tenets of their religion. He frequented the environment of the Jews and the rabbis, mostly because they were merchants and omnipresent ethnic groups. Because he could not read or write, his ears were attentive and keen to everything that the Jews related to him. Muhammad learned and extracted much from the Jewish religion and compounded it with his new religion, Islam, man. All right. So all you people into that, that's a man-made religion, man. All right. When Khadijah, a rich widow, which Khadijah, she was an Israelite woman. When Khadijah, a rich widow, heard of the good reputation of Muhammad, she employed him in her business. He went on a business deal, transacting it with good results, and returned home at an advantageous time. Muhammad was amazed at the beauty of Khadijah. He had not seen her before because he had received his position by proxy. Khadijah was immensely gratified by the way he conducted her affairs and the manner in which he presented himself to her. Muhammad was not a tall man, but he had such broad shoulders that he looked like a giant. Muhammad had curly black woolly hair that gave him an excellent appearance. Finally, Muhammad married Khadijah, the rich woman of the city of Mecca, when she was about 40 years old. According to Alvin L. Bertrand, most mass movements pass through 4 stages of... So I can skip to the good parts. The first stage of the Islamic Revolution. According to Al L. Bertrand, most mass movements pass through 4 stages of phases to complete a whole cycle, but Eric Hoffer Longshoreman postulates 3 stages: the vocal stage, the fanatical stage, and the stage of practical manufacturing. Muhammad spent many days in the hills outside of Mecca. He was immersed deeply in the deplorable conditions of his people, and he wanted to lead them away from more turpitude and idolatry. It seemed to him that the angel Gabriel appeared, commissioned him to articulate a new religious substitute for the old, which that shit is bugged out, man. Hey, this dude Muhammad, he used to hang in caves, man. Hey, he just completely bugged out, man. All right. Rumors of him having marrying 9-year-olds and etc., man. All right, but let's continue on. It says Muhammad gradually came to believe that he was a prophet and expounded his religion to members of his family. He went out to the holy temple to breach the multitude that gathered to worship the idols. With these words, the first phase of the Islamic Revolution began. He said, La ilaha Allah Muhammad Rasul Allah. However you say that. He said, there's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the prophet. He trying to make his twist on the on the Shema Yahweh Yasharallah Adayah Yahweh Achad. Showing you that they take everything from Jake's. Showing you that they take everything from the scriptures, man, because the Quran itself means to recite, Incidentally, by this time, the Hebrew Old Testament had been translated to Arabic, and the Arabs were rapturously pleased to read about their great ancestors in the story of the Hebrew patriarchs. This fact alone helped Muhammad happen to inspire the Arabs the feeling of nationalism and racial pride, because they have read in the Hebrew scriptures that Ishmael was to become a great nation, and Ishmael was given a blessing, but he wasn't given a promise. Isaac was given a promise. Muhammad masterminded the first stage of his revolution by undermining the discrediting prevailing established belief and constantly questioning other political, social, and religious institutions. Muhammad attacks other merchants and rulers in Mecca who employed the well of Ishmael and Kaaba temple for monetary gain. Not only did he speak out against idolatry, but also against gambling and drunkenness because he spoke against the wine enterprise in the city of Taif. Muhammad was compelled to leave the city. When Muhammad returned to the city of Mecca, the opposition was intensified against him. A law enacted that anybody who accepted Islam would be exiled. When the leaders of the city of Mecca were informed that Muhammad was gaining converts in Yathrib, they conspired to assassinate him. This conspiracy motivated Muhammad to flee from Mecca to Yathrib. The night of Muhammad's flight of Yathrib, later called Medina, the city of the Prophet, is known as the Hegira of the flight. However you say that, Mohammedan or Mohammedan calendar commences with the year of the Hegira. It is the most important event in Islamic history. They say AD 622, when Muhammad was 50 years of age, coming to Yathrib, Muhammad found the inhabitants very hospitable to him, to his new religion. There were two factors that contributed to this hospitality. There were many influential Jews in Yathrib who were allies with the other Arabs. These Jews had introduced the conception of one God. That's where Muhammad got it from, man. Moreover, the Arabs were somewhat tolerant of the Jews on their pilgrimage to the temple in Mecca. All right. So like it says, the Prophet adopted many principles and laws from the Jewish religion, because the Quran means to recite it, literally taking the stuff from the Bible, all right, and putting their Quran and adding their little twist to it. First of all, the basic idea of monotheism, which is the belief in one God. The Jewish confession of the unity of God is Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Ehad, which is Shema Yashar Allah, all right, Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Echad, which is here, O Israel, the Lord our power, the Lord is one, all right. Which means, they added their own version to it, of course, and it says there's no God but Allah. It says there's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the prophet of Allah, which is bullshit. All right, they added their own verse to it. The calendar, also the main detail of Jewish calendar, Day of Atonement, the Shabbat, much of the Bible that narrates of the Midrash, and many points of the ritual law. Incidentally, the Jews pray 3 times a day facing the city of Jerusalem, and Muslims, true to believe, pray 5 times a day facing the city of Mecca. They add their little twist to it, man. Try his best, Muhammad sought to convert the Jews to his new religion, but to no avail. The Jews were adamant and resisted the change. The highest thing which the prophet held for the Jews were transformed to enmity, because he looked up to Jake. And instead, allies, he looked upon them as competitors. Muhammad needed the confirmation of the influential Jews to validate his mission, as all upstarts needed the backing of someone influential. Muhammad therefore turned against the Jews and became their tormentor, man.